y'all doing? This is Deebo from Everything So Good. Today, I make my famous smothered beef short ribs. First, I'm trying to knock out this onion. Have you ever been to someone's house and instead of them cutting up their onion, no matter if it's chunky or not, they try to give you a whole onion, and there's nothing worse than biting into a whole onion in a meal where the onions are supposed to be chopped up. Look, I love onions. I don't know about you. So I'm just gonna make that look neat. So I got my hot black skillet. Put some olive oil in there. I'm gonna let that boil up. Put these short ribs in here. Let them brown. What do you think? It should be dark, or it should be brown, or you want them chocolate? Think about it, because that's the way your gravy's gonna look. That's the way your food's gonna look at. Do you want your food to look pale, or do you want your food to look kind of dark with accents of color in it? I think I want accents of color in my food. What about you? Anyway, I'm gonna let these just bubble up a little bit and brown on both sides. I really don't eat that much beef. I'm more of a chicken, poultry, fish eater. But I will prepare it for you. I'm really good at preparing meat. Smile at that one. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. That way you get all my updates. Yep. Let these fry and skew and let them fry. And when I cook, I don't rush. I don't rush at all. I take my time. Because when you rush food, it doesn't cook well, and then you can actually taste it in the final product. When you rush any meal, I don't care what you're cooking, you can make a bowl of oatmeal. If you rush that bowl of oatmeal, it's not gonna taste right. You have to take your time on everything that you cook. So I'm flipping these over, you notice it's getting brown, looking good. It's getting caramelized. It's the caramel that's coming there. That's how I want it. I want it caramelized on both sides. These short ribs are gonna be so good. Once I make the gravy and smother, yum. I might make a Yum TV commercial off of it. By the way, make sure you subscribe. Stop stop right now and go ahead and subscribe. I ain't playing. Get those notifications when you slam on that bell, because I need you to get that notification so that way you know when I'm cooking something up. So I'm letting these brown. I'm gonna flip them in a minute. Start flipping them on the side so they get browned all the way around. There's no way to be half and half and half. I need all of it brown, even the sides, because that's where the fat is, and you want that fat to be caramelized too. Because if that fat's not caramelized, you're gonna be biting into a pillow of fat, and that doesn't taste that good. But if it's caramelized a little bit, it's you caramelize it to a point where it's almost crunchy, and then you smother it. That is so good. Oh my goodness. I'm not playing. I'm so serious. I've been cooking since I've been 16 years old. Only for survival. It wasn't because I liked to cook. I loved to cook. But it was a survival because nobody in my household could cook. But they had food stamps. So when you have food stamps, you can get any kind of food you want. Back in those days, I think that was 1971. My parents were really poor and students. So yeah, I remember those days. And we ate really good, but nobody knew how to cook it. So they would buy these really strange vegetables and different types of meat. And it was up to me to experiment. Can you believe a 10-year-old experimenting on a filet mignon steak? Imagine experimenting. So I'm gonna hover around these a little bit more. I already flipped them. I think I might flip them one more time. Getting ready for the bowl to let them rest, and then I'll start preparing my gravy. Start caramelizing those onions. Let's see what we got here. Let me see. Get that one little edge on the back. Get those edges. That's where that fat is, on that back right there. Stave these up. Put this in the bowl. All right, here we go. And these are ready. They're about as good as it's gonna be. No matter what, they're gonna be delicious anyway, because I made sure I got a nice cut of prime rib. These were really good market cut short ribs, not the ones in the pack. I went to the actual butcher, and they had these cuts, and I cut these for serving size. So I'm gonna go ahead and start caramelizing these onions. I'm gonna keep working on them, and you'll see them getting kind of opaque. my pre-made flour with my seasoning, that Deebo's everything's seasoning. I'm not gonna just dump it all in there. I'm gonna shake it in there, and I'm taking that whole. It's like a cup with my seasoning, and I'm gonna brown it. This is kind of how I make my gravy. If you actually want to see how I make my gravy, you can watch this. Continue watching this and learn, or you can go to my video where it's step by step on how to make gravy. That way you can get the notification on time when you see me or hear me making food. That means I'm cooking something. Ding ding. So yeah, I'm browning this gravy. Notice my gravy was already kind of reddish color. That's because that's all paprika inside of my seasoning. So I've already pre-made it darkened, which I believe that your food should be dark. I don't believe in having pale colored food. That is so unappealing. No way, buddy. So anyway, I'll continue to brown this flour. Basically, I'm trying to cook the flour taste out of the flour. And it's so nasty. Like me trying to cook up some flour, but you don't cook it first. You actually have to brown the flour before you add water. Because if you don't, it's going to be all floury taste because you didn't get a chance to cure that flour. Anyway, I added my own water. I think I'm adding like 3 bowls. And I'm going to add about 3 more bowls, and which is going to probably add up to about 8 cups of water. There and around. Basically, you're just looking at the consistency of your gravy. You're not going to be counting your cups. You're going to be just making sure when you do put the water in there, your water is hot or at least turned off from boil under the boiling point, because when you add water to your gravy, the water has to be just as hot as the pan that you're adding to. In other words, your flour has to be just as hot as your water. And that's kind of a trick on making gravy. You add cold water, it's not going to work. It's not going to ever work. It's going to always clump up. So make sure, and when you use water for your gravy, make sure your water or your broth is hot, super hot for broth. But for your water, make sure your water is either tap hot or boiling hot. I have a pot of hot water next to me, so that's why I'm making it look so easy. I always keep a hot boiling pot of water. And I just keep on whisking. I just keep whisking and working on it. I'm just working on this gravy, because when you work on the gravy, your meals look good. And so make sure, and I've already pre-seasoned everything. I mean, I'm not going to tell you the secret spices to my spice, but it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm going to ahead and put these short ribs in here. Cover them up. About 2.5 hours. Look at that. And bubble for about 2.5 hours. Look at that, how creamy that gravy is. Ooh, put that on some rice, some cabbage, some green beans, some cornbread. Mama, look at that. That's gonna be good. See, when I make a meal like this, I used to cook it during the day.
Deebo.